2024.
The wait is over in Bahrain, and we are just hearing that the starting grid is on the look for a new driver. Who will it be?
I'm having trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting shit.
And radio is good.
Here we go.
The Grand Prix is underway.
What a dramatic start. Can you believe it?
I feel like they're gonna bleed.
Yes!
Spun out in my
Oh, he's lost it!
I'm out, guys. That's it.
The pit lane's going to be alive now. They're all in.
on my own. Here we go. Mind is set on an overdrive. On my own. Here we go.
It's not every day that we get to see such incredible wheel-to-wheel racing.
Out of the final corner. And here's our winner today.
Can you beat me?
What a race. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to the fans.
Welcome in, everybody, to round number 9 of Prowler Racing League. We are in Spa tonight. This track is a classic on the calendar, one of the longest as well. We're around almost 4.5 miles, 19 corners. We've got 2 DRS zones, one on the long straight between 4 and 5. Big elevation changes. The most famous one going up the hill through El Rouge. So, as we get going on tonight, we have so far our team standings. Aston Martin out front with 237 to Mercedes 171. McLaren third place with 102, Alpine 97, Williams 79, Ferrari 66, Red Bull 46, Racing Bulls 32, Sauber 19, and Haas with 18. Now those team standings are brought by the driver standings, and so far Zuluxi holding on to the lead against Vanilla Spilla, but only just. As we got only a few more rounds left to go in the season, it is still up for grabs if Vanilla can do amazing job like he did last week in Monaco, getting the win, vaulting himself closer to Zuluxi's lead. Third place, we got our reserve, Some Good Salt. Fourth place, we got Oscar moving up 2 positions up to 4th place. Then we got Echo. Unfortunately, Echo not here tonight, cannot help out his teammate of Zuluxi in the team standings. So it would be all to do by Dynamic and Vanilla in the Mercedes to vault Mercedes up to the front. Next up, we got Mr. Chris, our reserve, in 6th. Dynamic in 7th with 44. Next up, we got Hayden in the Ferrari, followed by Boogie in the McLaren. Next up is Brushy Pancakes in P10. And then we got a few reserves. Our next full-time driver is Dero Racer X in 13th, followed by Pug Life in 14th, C9 Wolfokami in P15, followed by Corey P16, and then we got Sent by God down in 20th. So hopefully Sent by God can score some points, get further up in the standings. And I do believe the Red Bull of Pixelin looking to score some points to get himself within the top 20. Last I checked, I believe he is just outside the top 20. So right now we're in the lobby waiting for a few drivers to finish coming in. But while we're waiting for that, we've got tonight's race. round 9 in Belgium. And tonight's race is a special event where all drivers have to have 2 pit stops, just like last week in Monaco. So this tire strategy is going to be up in the air, and it all depends if it doesn't rain. If it rains, that tire strategy goes out the window. So back to right now we're waiting. Go do the... Oh, it looks like Pixelin won't be able to make it. He's stuck in traffic in the snow. He was snowboarding today. He might not make it tonight. So I believe right now we're just waiting on the... on our host to give us the go-ahead for everyone to ready up. Watching the Discord right now. I think we're missing a few drivers. Right now we've got 12. Yeah, we're missing quite a few. Looking at the Discord right now, we're actually just waiting for a few drivers. Looks like we're waiting Dude Chef and Dragonflies. And Dynamic. Dynamic's not in yet. So, as we sit here waiting, we'll just go through. Thank you, Vanilla, for the good luck. Let's just pull up the calendar again. 'Cause we are still waiting for a few more. But, as you can see, our season is wrapping up. We've got, tonight is Spa. Next week is Hungaroring, which is actually going to be a sprint weekend. So that's going to be a long night. Doing a shorter race with a longer race. Then after that is Singapore, so street circuit, which will be amazing to see how the attrition goes for that race. Next up after that is Qatar, which is also a sprint. And then finally, we're wrapping up the season in Imola. So it will be interesting to see how the night ends up. All right, we got the go-ahead from our host. So let's sit in the lobby, watch all those green check marks go as we're getting ready to rock and roll. Loading in here. I'm sure Dynamics got invite, so he should be able to pop in once it gets going. So it looks like from the original 17 drivers that were checked in, we had 2 dropped out after the check-in cutoff, which isn't the end of the world. It happens. All right. So as the game is loading up here, things are resetting. So let's get to our track cameras, get ourselves set up here. Oh, still loading. There we go. Full track map. And we get rid of those timing boards. Take a look at our timing screen. Looks like we got everybody with their telemetry turned on. So we're good. Awesome. And it looks like JR, our first driver out onto the track, will give us a good showing of what the track layout is. Everyone is still in the pits. So the key thing that JR is going to be doing on this outlap is making sure keeps his tire temperatures up. Actually pull up that graphic. Still good, still green as he's heading around the track. They're not cooling off too much, but he will be the first car across the timing line to give us a timed lap. So far, looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars out on track right now. 5. Coming around the double right-hander there. Into the 3rd sector. So let's get ready for his timing here. You know what? Let's give you live speed for how JR is going to do. Into the bus stop. Hopefully he didn't invalidate too close to the start-finish line. He's going to start his time lap now. Coming down to the hairpin of La Source. Putting the power down. Heading down to the water of Al Rouge. And then up, ready on. Onto the back straight. DRS wide open. There's his teammate giving him a little bit of a tow. C9 getting out of the way there. Ooh, a little bit of a desync, but that's okay. Cleanly through turn 6, now into turn 7. Round turn 8. Picking up speed. Heading down to the very fast turn 10 and 11. Through 13. Still doing very well. Right now, the only car that's faster after the first sector is actually going to be Hayden. .180 through there and climbing. just before the bus stop, going very quickly. Keeps the lap clean. JR's going to set our first time. Cross line 146.768. On board with Hayden. Looks like Lone Fiber actually set the fastest first sector so far out of everybody. Hayden, purple middle sector. Pug Life 145.221. Hayden coming through the bus stop. Around the last corner. Thunderhammer down up to P1 143.957 for Hayden. Next up is going to be Lone Fiber. Comes to the pits. Fiber had the best lap so far, but abandoned it on the last corner and into the pits. Sent by God, fastest of a 143.476. Next up, we're actually going to take a look at last week's winner, Vanilla. So far, fastest first sector out of everybody. 30.739 through that first sector. Just about to finish the second sector. Zaluxi beats him in the second sector. Zaluxi coming across the line. 142.287 sets the fastest lap. We're still here with Vanilla. Still cruising at a really good time. Round 19. Down the straight, DRS is wide open. Across the line, 142.410. Cannot get past Zaluxi. So far, your pole setter, Zaluxi, 142.287. It's like the next car across the line is going to be Boogie. Boogie up to fifth, 143.966. Looks like everyone so far is on a cooldown lap. Lone Fiber coming back out into the track. He's on an out lap right now. Lone Fiber, early on in the session, was setting the fastest lap but abandoned it. So currently on an out lap right now. We'll see what Lone Fiber can do on a timed lap. Currently, actually, car that's on a lap right now is going to be Dynamic. Dynamic, personal best through that first sector. Looks like we do have a retirement of C9. He's grayed out, so that means he's out of the session, did not set a time. Very unfortunate for C9 Wolf Okami. Dynamic flying. Gets through the second sector, now on the third sector. Teammate ahead of him. Trying to give a little bit of a tow here, going through the final sector. Vanilla doing his best to drag his teammate along. Seems to be working so far. Through the bus stop. Around the final corner. Dynamic. Cross line up to P6. A 144.463 for Dynamic. Next up, we got Darrell Racer X. Currently in Sector 2. on an outlap. So actually, we're going to go with Lone Fiber. He's on a timed lap, I believe. It's not showing a timed lap. It's not validated. Oh, there we go. Just took a second for him to get through the sector. So, yep. Lone Fiber making his way personal best so far, but that's because he hasn't set a time. Coming through that final third sector. Moving quickly. There is an Aston Martin up ahead, but I don't think that will be a problem. Down to the chicane of 18 and 19, the bus stop. Oh, getting very sideways there through the exit of 18. Fiber cross the line, P3 with a 1:43.205. That bumps him very healthily up to the top. So we will go now to Duro Racer X. Actually, let's go with Corey. Corey's further ahead on the track coming into the third sector. Getting his personal best time so far. Invalidates. Tough break for Corey. Let's go with DRL Racer. Coming down to turn 10 and 11. The very quick double left-hander. So far, he's done personal best, yet he hasn't set a time yet, so any lap now is a personal best. Got Zaluxi putting a purple middle sector, putting her stamp of authority on this league this night. Oh, invalidated. No good. But Duro Racer X through the bus stop. Putting the hammer down. This is going to set him up to P5 with a 1:43.902 for Duro Racer X. And it looks like Corey's going for another lap. Not sure if he's had enough time because his battery is 100% and he's not even using it. It's currently disabled. So Corey is setting a lap without using ERS. He might have enough time after this lap to come back around and do another and actually use his battery. Surprise, Corey's not using his battery. Corey flying down to the bus stop through the speed trap. 184 around the final corner. It's a little out of shape there. Cross line gets P12 to 151.651 for Corey. Yep, and he's starting another timed lap, and he's using that battery. You can see it deploying there just for a little bit. That's continuing to go down, so he's going to try to do another lap. Looks like Pug Life is actually improving on his time. Didn't in the first sector. Middle sector, he is personal best. So let's see as he comes across the line here if he did enough to vault himself up a little bit. Up to P9, 144.716 for Pug Life. Again, Corey going for another timed lap. But right now, our eyes are on Oscar as he is yet to set a time. Currently on the softs. Invalidated that lap. So he's going to have to try again. We'll keep an eye on the rest of the timing board for any improvements so far it doesn't look like many people are doing improvements. So now it's all down to the only car. Well, C9 is out. He retired from the session. So now we have to see if Oscar, he abandons with less than 3.5 minutes left. He's going to have to come in. Ooh, we hit the wall there. There's a little piece of wall sticking out there here at Spa. You got to be really careful when you get to the pits. So he is coming to the pits probably to put on a new set of tires and head back out because he has to set a time. Let's take a look here on the track map. Corey did set a time up to 11th now and invalidates there, so this lap will not count. Let's see who else is out on there right now. Pug invalidated, so he's got to come back all the way around. Oh, and here he goes into the pits. So looks like Derail Racer, I want to say this isn't, yeah, he's on out lap, so it's not timed lap. But it looks like he's the furthest one out on track right now. You've got, I think that's Corey ahead of him. Going off the track, out of the way. Yep. So now Derail Racer X is going to be the first car across the line doing a final lap. You can see the pit lane is emptying. All those P's that were on the edge there. And the E means exit, so like sent by God, he's not on track. Dynamics now exiting now. Pug Life still in the pits. Corey's on an invalidated lap. So looks like everyone's going to go for one last lap. We'll see how that goes. Right now, we're going to be here on board with Derail Racer X. Down to turn one. Keep an eye on how he's doing in the first sector here. Up to Radion. Down the, or up the very long straight. Fortunately, nobody around him, so he's not getting a tow. So he's on his own. Does not improve on the first sector by not a whole lot. It's a hair. 9,000ths of a second. 50 seconds left. A lot of cars still out on track. I don't think they're going to get close enough to finish their laps or to start a new lap. Possibly 40 seconds left. We're missing a Ferrari. Personal best in the middle sector for Derail. Oh, there he is. P5. I don't know why I missed Hayden right there. Around the final corner, Derail Racer, currently 7th. Moves up to 5th. Next up, it's going to be, so it looks like Pug Life couldn't get another lap in. Corey couldn't get another lap in. JR invalidates on his. Yeah, it's Haynes slowing down. Purple, or it's not, it's a yellow flags through that sector, so I don't think Hayden's on a flyer. Next up is going to be, I think it's Vanilla. Yep, Vanilla around Hayden. Tries to gets it. 142.060. Pips Deluxy for a pole position. So next up, Sent by God. Coming across the line and see if he can improve. P4. And your last car on track is going to be Dynamic. Coming through and across the line, 144.463. That is going to do it for qualifying. The rest of the cars are in the pits. But your pole setter, Vanilla Spilla. Oh, too far. Yep. Your pole setter, Vanilla Spilla, ahead of Zeluxy. The other screenshot here real quick. Okay. And we'll go back to here. As we wait for everyone to go through their results, let's get our graphic for the grid printed out for you guys. All right, and here's your grid. Vanilla Spilla, last week's winner with a 142.060 P1, followed by Zeluxy, your championship leader currently. Next up, we got Oscar, P3. Sent by God, P4. Lone Fiber, all the way to P5. He's a newest addition to the league. He's an old member, but first time racing, I believe, for this season. Next up, Giro Racer X, P6. Hayden, P7. Boogie, P8. Dynamic, P9. Pug Life, in 10th. Draco, 11. Corey, P12. JR, in 13th. And C9 Wolf Okami, who did not set a time. Didn't see what happened. I think he just retired in the pits. In P14. So that is your grid for tonight. We are waiting for everyone to do their race strategy. The game does have a glitch, so we can't do formation laps. So to make it fair for everybody gets a chance to set their tire strategies. Remember, for tonight, there's 2 pit stop requirements for everybody. And dry tire rules apply, whereas it has to be 2 compounds at least. So, due to that, we'll see how everybody starts. If everybody wants to go long at the start on the hards, mediums, or go for the lead off the rip on the softs, we'll see. Haven't really seen much strategy talk this week in the Discord to see what everyone's going to go with. It should be interesting. Zeluxy saying, I didn't see that. What didn't I see? I must have missed it. Or I did see it and I commented on. I'm not sure what. We'll see what Zeluxy has to say as we're sitting here waiting for everyone to get their strategies correct. Oh, looks like TJ is ready to rock and roll. Asking everybody if they're ready. So let's head to trackside. Got our leaderboard up and running. We will be ready to rock and roll momentarily. I believe we were waiting for possibly Corey to come back in. Don't know if he disconnected or not. But there we go. We're on the track. Lights are up. Lights are out. And we are underway here at Spa. Zaluxy out in front of Vanilla Spilla. Great start for Zaluxy on the softs. We were wondering about what the strategy would be early on, and Zaluxy going for a virtual safety car deployed already. Who did we lose? I don't think we lost anybody. But virtual safety car is out. Deployed. It's going to neutralize the field. The game's saying one stop, but it's not a one-stop race with our rules. They have to make 2 stops. But it looks like only one of our drivers, sent by God, is the one who started the race on hards. Going for the long stints to begin with. So right now, one of the cars that's a straggler is the kick of JR. So it might have been something with JR. And actually, looking at JR, does have wing damage. Big chunk, 100% on the front left. Front right is at 26%. VSC is ending. And the next car up, yeah, you can see JR's wings are missing. Draco also missing his front wing. So there must have been a tussle there at the beginning. We missed it. He also is showing damage for the floor. Yep, he has floor damage there. Vanilla all the way back in 13th. What happened there? Car's okay, but Vanilla all the way up in the front. Now all the way at the back pretty much. Very interesting turn of events for Vanilla, last week's winner. So, as we come across the line, Lone Fiber leads us. Zaluxy's also in the pit too. So, Zaluxy getting that first pit stop out of the way early on. Draco pitting for the wing. Looks like JR's also into the pits as well. But this is a quick turn of events here. We have Lone Fiber out in front being hunted down by Hayden. The field is now getting a little bit spread out due to the pit stops. Draco gets that front wing changed, but does have the floor damage he's going to have to contend with for the rest of the race. Again, game saying it's a one stop, but it is not. It is 2. But speaking of pit stops, so they are predicting these hard tires 10 to 11 laps on the hards. Mediums are going to go up 8 to 9, whereas the softs are only 6 to 7, and they're going to be dropping off pretty quick from what we can tell. So Hayden starts on the soft, falling back a little bit from Fiber. But actually, quickly looking at the forecast, is light clouds the entire race. So no risk of rain for tonight. So that should be a little bit of a relief for most of the drivers out on the field. A little bit of circuit information here. 19 corners. Drivers are on full throttle 70% of the lap. Top speed, you're looking at about 210 miles per hour. It's a low downforce, low tire wear for tonight's race. So, as we're getting into it, the gap to Hayden has 2 fibers at 1.2 seconds. Pug Life right on the gearbox, less than half a second on Hayden. It looks like Dynamic and DRL were going at for a little bit there. Hayden gets a warning for a corner cut. The big question here is, can Sent by God in P4 on the hards defend for a long while and not let the drivers ahead get too far? We got a 3-second penalty for Dynamic. Let's check out our penalties so far here. Dynamic with 3 seconds so far. I did see a drive-through penalty, I think, for somebody earlier on. Oh, C9 Wolf Akami, 3 seconds as well, back in P9. He's up pretty good so far after not setting time during qualifying. So right now the gaps are staying pretty big. Sent by God really on the gearbox there of Pug. Everybody taking a little bit of a different line through the bus stop there. Fastest lap brought to you by Corey. Sent by God, heavy braking. Looked like it was close to Pug, but in reality it wasn't. But the field right here, from second down to 8th, very close. As you can see, all of them right here. DRS is wide open. Pug Life looking, almost getting to the back of Hayden there. Oh, Hayden's off. Hayden is out. Safety car is deployed. That was a big shunt there for Hayden. See if the car is still there, or the game. I'm out there. Yeah, going through this complex right here. Pug Life was on the gearbox of Hayden as they were coming through. But there's no wing damage for Pug Life. Let's go on looking at his car there. No wing damage, so I don't know if it was just a netcode issue or if it was actual contact. But the way that Hayden's car speared off to the side there, it looked like as if he got hit. And going into turn 4, they were so close together. There wasn't a breath between them. So as we're under safety car, we can actually go through the race story for all of our drivers so far. And we'll actually bring up total pit stops here on the board to show where everybody's at. So you got Lone Fiber, started P5. You can see everybody diving to the pits back there. So we've got Lone Fiber, started 5th, now in 1st. Looks like it's on the tires he started on, mediums. He's now being collected by the safety car, whereas everybody else is in the pits pretty much. Let's see. Got Vanilla Spilla, for some reason, dropped really far back, coming into the pits. See what he switches to. No. No way. I was gonna say, did he just retire? No, he's coming up. What? So, even Oscar did it too. Oscar out onto intermediates, which technically you can do that. I know there's an actual rule in real F1, an IRL F1, that unless the track is not declared wet, you cannot run a wet tire on a dry track for safety concerns. But because this is a video game, it's not written in Archer rules. These guys are actually pretty smart for doing this. Pitting for a wet tire, so they're getting their pit stop done. They're not using a dry compound to save those tires for when they actually under green conditions. So I have a feeling it'd be surprising if they don't pit. But Oscar and Vanilla more than likely going to come back into the pits to change those out. But before we get there, it's a long shot till we get to the pits. So let's go back through our story here. First up, you had Lone Fiber, P5, now in first. Corey started 12th, up to second. Pug Life with one pit stop, started 10th, up to third. Next up, we got Sent by God in P4, started 4th, in 4th, has done one pit stop. Zero Racer X started 6th, in 5th, has done one pit stop. Dynamic, 9th to 6th, has done one pit stop. Oh, looks like Fiber's coming in for his pit stop. Next up, we got Boogie. Started 8th, in 6th, with his one pit stop. Zluxy started 2nd, now in 7th, currently on mediums. Then we got C9, Wolf Okami, started 14th, currently 8th. Draco started 11th, up to 9th. JR, 13th, up to 10th. Fiber, who was leading our race, is pitted for the wets. Now in 11th. And he's going to have to pit again. But if the safety car comes in this lap, he's going to be losing out a lot. Next up, we got Oscar, who's completed, first of our drivers to complete their 2 pit stop minimum, is on the hards. More than likely going to try to go the race distance, but from what the graph is saying, the hards are only going to last for 10 to 11 laps. So, we got a long while to go. Next up, we got Vanilla, who did pit, is currently in 12th on the hards. So doing the same strategy as Oscar, trying to go the distance on these hards. Let's see if that pays out for him. Because if we get another safety car, this strategy goes right out the window. But those drivers and Fiber now doing it with them, going for the wet to dry to save the dries as we go around. So far, the only car to not pit is your current leader of Corey. There we go. Race control says the safety car is in this lap. Fiber is going to lose out even more when he pits to go back to the hard tires, because everyone's going to be down to turn 4 or 5 by the time he gets back out. So now, Corey leading us away. We're going to be on board with Pug Life with the much younger mediums compared to Corey's much more older mediums. Corey back in the field up around the bus stop. Corey putting the hammer down. Pug Life not letting him get away. Pug Life now can go for the move. Down the inside, doesn't do it. Tucks him behind safely there. Zero Racer going for the move against Dynamic through turn 1. Down the hill. Pug Life still P2. Sent by God, looking for the move. Pug Life going to the inside. He's going to get a push from Sent. Pug Life up to P1. Sent by God tucks in behind Corey. Followed by Deerell Racer, who's battling hard against Dynamic. And Zluxy right behind them. Pug Life, your leader. Lap 7 of 22 here at Spa. Surprisingly, Fiber didn't lose as much time as I thought he would. Only about 14 seconds behind C9. But here's the battle at the front. Everybody, gaps are pretty similar to what they were before the safety car. Everybody's about a half second. Oh, looked like their contact there between Corey and Sent by God. Looks like we're okay so far. Sent by God through the grass. Can't get it slowed down in time. Off into the gravel trap. See if he safely brings it back online. Looks like Draco took a long way around as well. Sent by God now has all to do to get back up to the front. Speaking of the front, Pug Life still out in front. Corey behind by less than half a second. Closing in, doesn't make the move. Ooh, getting very sideways there for Corey. Mind you, he is on the worn tires that he started the race on. We pull up our graphic here for tire wear. As you can see, everyone's on very fresh rubbers, whereas Corey, 19% on his rears. And that explains why his car is looking very squirrely coming through some of those corners. Pug Life getting a warning. Your top 5 very close together here, though. Corey going wide. More difficult to control the car. DRL looking for the move on the inside. Gets it done. Zaluxy sticking with DRL. Through she goes. Dynamic as well. Corey dropping way back. Hopefully Corey does a pit stop here. And he does. Let's see what tires he switches to. If he's going to go another quick stint or if he's going to go long. We shall see. Tires are on. Away he goes. Onto the mediums. So 2 mediums. So he's going to go. Oh, goes extremely wide out of the pit exit. Gets the warning for it. Thankfully, not a penalty. It comes out into P12. So back up at front, we have Pug Life leading away from DRL and Zaluxy and Dynamic. All extremely close together. Surprisingly, though, Zaluxy 73% on the left front. Let's see if her end plate's gone, and it is gone. Damaged left front wing for Zaluxy, so she's going to be fighting against having not as much grip, but she is still flying behind Zero Eraser, and they're doing their best to not let Pug Life get away. Last week, Zero Eraser and Zaluxy had an amazing battle all the way up until basically the last corner in Monaco. Let's see if they can keep that energy going tonight. Dynamic getting spicy behind Zaluxy. And behind Dynamic is Vanilla. Vanilla moving right back up into the field, doing his best to make up for the early issues he had. Up the hill, Zaluxy staying right on the gearbox of DRL, zips around DRL must have. Whoa, Zaluxi all the way up to the lead. Where's that speed coming from? She is flying and gets a warning for a corner cut there. But that was incredible. DRS be damned. And that wing being gone. Zaluxi out in front. She must have had an excellent exit coming up the hill and just blew by everybody like they're standing still. Highly impressive there from Zaluxi. That's got to be causing Pug Life and DRL and even Dynamic scratching their heads going, what in the world was that? Pug Life not letting her get away. 3/10 behind. So far, Zaluxi, Pug, and Dynamic and DRL are all on the same age mediums. And then next up, you got Vanilla Spilla and P5 on the hards. Zaluxi into the pits. Let's see what Zaluxi goes. We're about halfway done with the race. Zaluxi hopefully, getting the wing change. So that's going to cost a little bit of time there. Wings on. Away she goes, 7.4 on the pit stop due to the wing change. Onto the mediums. That pit is her second required pit stop, dropping her back down to P9. Back up front, Dynamic in the lead. Missed that overtake from Dynamic against Pug. But Dynamic out in front, trying to build a gap. Let's see what the time says as the gap goes. According to this, Pug Life is slower than Dynamic. Not by much, because that gap is staying pretty close at 3/10. Now it's down to 2.5. But all that being said, Pug Life still within DRS. So is DRL. Vanilla trying his best to close in on the top three. Across the line, we're now starting lap 12 of 22. Down the hill we go. Gaps are pretty steady. Let's actually go check out between Oscar and Vanilla. See if Oscar goes for a move here or not. Thinking about it, DRS is wide open. Yep, we're going to pull up everybody's battery here to see how everyone's using. And we got a few drivers that are actually reserving their battery pretty decently, and Vanilla is one of them. Sitting at roughly about 96% on his battery. Fiber with a 3-second penalty. Back in 10th. Oscar can't close in enough on Vanilla. Vanilla doing great on those hards, making up positions. The field gets pretty spread out after these guys here, so we'll head out back to our leaders. Pug Life back in the lead. Dynamic not giving it up easily. Makes a much closer over-under. Almost collects the back end there of Pug Life. 10 laps left to go. Your top three Pug Life, Dynamic, DRL Racer X. Now, with 10 laps left to go, let's double check everyone's pit stops here. Zalexi with the fastest lap, 1:44.197. So, your top three actually have to do another pit. DRL round the outside of Pug. DRL through the inside of Pug here. Dynamic around the outside. Apologies. Dynamic pulling away. Pug not letting DRL go, which has caused now Vanilla and Oscar to catch back up. So with 10 laps left to go, your top three still has to pit for their second pit stop. So your current leader is actually Vanilla Spilla with Oscar right behind and Zalexi after that, because Boogie and Sent by God both still have to do a second pit stop. So Dynamic trying to build a gap. Let's see here. Let's see what the system says. So if Dynamic pits now, he should come out right about 8th or 9th. It is saying 9th right now. Safety car is deployed. No, and Dynamic missed the pit. Oh, the safety car came out the worst possible time for the top three. They are unable to do their second pit stop for a free pit stop. Oh, tough break for Dynamic, Pug Life, and DRL. They more or less are getting screwed by this safety car. That is frustrating for those top three. Granted, all three of them would have fallen behind Vanilla, Oscar, and Zalexi, but they wouldn't have lost too much time because now they have to go around the entire lap, and all the cars that are currently pitting for their second pit stop are going to be caught up to the safety car field by the time those three have to pit. We got our Salvers of C9 and JR pitting at the same time, double stacking it. It's like JR going onto the softs, completing his pit stops. Now, I do see, I believe, I don't entirely know, but I'm pretty sure if you look at our timing scoring board on the side there, Corey has done 2 pit stops, but it's red. So I don't know if that is, he hasn't completed his dry tire requirement of 2 different compounds. I'm not sure. I would have to look to see where he is. So he actually, due to the gap, Corey could pit again if he needed to. He's done 2 stops, but I don't know if he's done the 2 dry tire compound requirement, because I think that's what that means when it's red like that. I don't know, because like the first guy's Dynamic, because I think DRL, he started on mediums and he's going to mediums, so I'm not sure. But speaking of that, let's go back up to the front. Let's watch the unfortunateness. These guys could go longer. They're only down. DRL's rears are only at 16%. Pugs are at 20. Yeah, all 3 of them pit. Kind of saw that coming. They got screwed over by the safety car massively. So as it sits right now, DRL is actually going to come out in 12th, I think. 2.2 second stop. That's a great stop. But it is going to drop him out of the points. By the time Drake gets past. Oh, nope. DRL comes out right in front. Wow, that was close. Look at that gap. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's red, because that doesn't make any sense now, because he went from medium to, I don't know. I'll have to ask the creator of the graphics to explain why those are red. But anyways, everyone has now completed their 2-stop requirements. So now it is going to be a straight up race to the end of the race. So it looks like this safety car is actually brought to you by Lone Fiber being knocked out here. So Vanilla, his story, pole position, back up to first. That early issue he had spin is a forgotten memory. He is back where he started. Your pole setter, Vanilla Spilla in P1. Next up, we got Oscar, started third up to second. Then we've got Zaluxy, started second down to third. Still though, with everything that has happened so far in this race, with pit stop strategies and tire selections, we are more or less back to where we started. But Zaluxy on the mediums compared to the very worn hards of Vanilla and Oscar, so we'll keep an eye on that. Safety car is in this lap, so the field's going back up. Let's get through this real quick. Boogie started 8th, up to 4th. Sent by God, 4th, now 5th. Corey, 12th and 6th. Then we got C9, 14th up to 7th. He's our big mover, 7 positions. Dynamic up 1 from 9th to 8th. Pug, 10th to 9th. And your final point scorer, screwed over by a safety car. Zero Racer, down 4 positions, started 6th in 10th, but he's going to look to score that final point. Then we got Drake, 11th, JR, 13th, 12th, and then back up to the front. Vanilla is gone. He started this safety car restart so well. He is pulled away almost a second and a half from second place Oscar, who is being harassed by Zaluxy, going up to Radion. Now, remind you, after a safety car restart, there is no DRS on this first lap. They will get DRS on the next lap. So now it's all down to ERS. Oh, Zaluxy almost collecting Oscar. Sent by God with a 3-second time penalty back there with the 2 McLarens. Zaluxy possibly looking for a move on the outside. Doesn't do it there. Sticking right with Oscar. Oscar's battery is down to 55, whereas Zaluxy's sitting healthily at like 90%. She's got all the ERS to use as Oscar's been defending with his. Oh, there's a touch there, looked like. But everybody's still moving, so I don't think that was the big deal. Zaluxy around the inside, just absolutely fly. You can see that battery's deploying like crazy. Now down to 49%. So I think that's where Zaluxy's getting her speed from, is using that battery deploy way more aggressively than anyone else. Vanilla with a 3-second penalty. This is going to be huge now. Vanilla with another warning. Draco with a 3-second penalty. We are collecting penalties like crazy right now. DRS is now active. Zaluxy hunting down her championship rival of Vanilla. Vanilla with about 90% battery to Zaluxy's 50. She's going to have to recharge if she wants to attack like she was before. Right now, Sent by God harassing Oscar. Oscar looking to the inside now. Makes the move, collects the position. Sent by God up to P3. Oscar back down to 4th. Now with Corey right behind with no penalties. This will be interesting because now the big problem for Vanilla is to build a gap on Zaluxy, but it's not there. It is not growing. She is right on his gearbox. Zaluxy recharging that battery, already up to 80%. Vanilla sitting on a full battery, 100% right now. Possibly going to be using it to deploy to fight off Zaluxy. Yeah, he's in neutral deploy. He's not even deploying it. But you got Zaluxy right on the gearbox. Goes around the outside. Nope. Tucks in behind through the bus stop. Sent by God pushing hard behind. Zaluxy DRS wide open. 5 laps to go. Zaluxy makes the move around the outside. Vanilla not giving it up. But it has to as Zaluxy takes the lead. Down the hill. Lap 18 of 22 here at Spa. But Vanilla has the battery. Zaluxy puts it into hot lap mode. That battery's deploying. She's getting harassed. You got Vanilla around the inside. Sent by God around the outside. Resets that battery to neutral. And waits for her turn to do it again. All while this is going on, Corey in P4 looking to capitalize on it. If anybody makes a mistake, JR up another 3-second penalty down at Radion. All while this battle for P2 is happening, Vanilla trying his best to pull away to counteract that 3 seconds of penalties. But right now, both our leader and second place have 3-second penalties. So they are technically racing head to head right now, whereas Zaluxy and Corey do not have penalties. So if Zaluxy and Corey can stay within 3 seconds of the leader. Oh, big contact! Sent by God, slamming into the back of Vanilla. And doing donuts here on the straightaway. Dropping all the way down to 9th. That is a huge unfortunate moment for Vanilla. Just absolutely getting wrecked in the rear end by Sent by God. Thankfully, neither one of them gets any damage from that. Vanilla recovering to P3, whereas Sent by God drops all the way down to P9. So now, Vanilla with all to do because he has that 3 seconds of penalties. He needs to get ahead of Corey, and virtual safety car is deployed. I believe that is due to JR in the pit lane. His car came to a stop at the bus stop, looked like, or the pit lane entry. So virtual safety car is going to neutralize the field, which is a problem for Vanilla because he cannot gain. He cannot close in on Corey. He's going to be losing out on lap time to try to close that gap because he needs to get ahead of both Corey and Zaluxy and build a gap to win this race. So right now, Vanilla, all he has to do to maintain a podium position is to keep 3 seconds ahead of Oscar, which currently it's very close. 2.2 seconds between Vanilla and Oscar. 1.7 now. So right now, Vanilla needing to defend against Oscar to build a gap 2-3 seconds. But right now, he's going to lose out to Oscar and possibly Boogie as well. Zero Racer right on the back of Boogie. less than a second, so he's going to get DRS here onto the long straightaway. Rear flap is open. Speed's increasing, gap reducing. Still a half a second back. Not going to be able to do anything anytime soon. Vanilla getting past Corey. Up to P2. Now Corey just has to stay within 3 seconds of Vanilla to regain that position at the end of this race. We're on lap 20 of 22, but Corey, his rear tires are cooked. Almost 30% for the rear. Vanilla getting a warning there for a corner cut. He might score another penalty before the end of this race. Corey doing his best not to let Vanilla get too far ahead, but like I said, those tires are very worn. He is not going to be able to have the grip that he needs. You can see there, 31% on his rears, and he is on the soft, so those are going to degrade very quickly compared to everyone else. Vanilla on the hards, Oscar on the hards, Zaluxy, your leader, on the mediums. Coming down to the bus stop, Corey doing his best to keep Vanilla within his grasp. Oscar working hard to catch Corey. If my math serves me right, he will inherit third. So he just needs to keep that gap close to Corey to prevent Vanilla from pipping him to P3. Got DRL Racer going for the move on Boogie on the inside, down to turn 5. DRL Racer up to P5. DRL on the softs. His softs are not that worn, about 17 on the rears, 15 on the front, so he's doing good. Battery roughly about 68%. So now he's just going to put the hammer down, trying to pull away from Boogie and hunt down Oscar. Oscar still within Vanilla's 3-second window. Vanilla doing his best just to build that gap. Almost a second away from Corey. Vanilla right now fighting for third due to penalties. Like we said, he has 3 seconds. Down the line, the next car that has penalties is Dynamic with 3 seconds. So he is actually in the clear because Pug Life is almost 7 seconds behind. So Dynamic will not lose 7th, but he will not gain anything on Boogie. We're on to the final lap. Zaluxy out in front by almost 4 seconds to P2 of Vanilla, who has Corey hunting him down along with Oscar, as those two will inherit positions as Vanilla has 3 seconds of penalties to serve at the end of the race. DRL actually might be trying to capitalize here. If DRL can get closer and get past Oscar, or even at this point, if it should, 2, 6. Oh, shit. Apologies. Vanilla actually might lose out to DRL Racer now. This might be for DRL actually might be fighting for third at this point. Vanilla with another 3 seconds. It is over for Vanilla. Now with 6 seconds of penalties, that is going to drop him back pretty much down to P5. So now it's down to DRL trying to get a podium against Oscar, but as we're doing this, you've got Zaluxy coming around the final corner, putting her stamp of authority on everything. P1 for Zaluxy, followed by Vanilla P2, Corey P3. But as the penalty serves, Corey's P2, Oscar P3, Zero P4, Boogie P5, Vanilla P6, Dynamic P7, Pug Life P8, Sent by God P9. Then we got C9, Wolfakami. Bring in your last point. Cross the line, P10, followed by Draco, P11, as your final car that is running. That is your race. Corey, your driver of the day. Well-deserved P2 for him. Let's get the screenshots here as we come across the podium. So, your winner tonight, Zaluxy. Followed by Corey, Oscar, Dero Racer X, Boogie, Vanilla Spilla. And my graphic just went away. Once the celebrations finish up here, we'll get the screenshots we need. So, your winner, Zoluxy, your driver of the day, Corey. And we'll scroll down. Screenshot. Okay. And back to our animation screen. So, again, that was round 9 at Spa. Zoluxy, your winner, with a fastest lap of 1:44.197. So she gets the extra point there for a total of 26 points added to her score or her championship. Next up, we got Corey, Oscar, Deal Racer X, Boogie, Vanilla, Dynamic, Pug Life, Sempagod, and C9 Wolfakami, bringing up your final scoring point in P10. Again, that was a tough break for a lot of the drivers. Some drivers getting easily taken out. Vanilla Spill being one of them there. Tough break going up against Sent by God. He was the one that rear-ended him going into the bus stop. Thankfully, Vanilla was able to recover, but then penalties at the end ended his race. So that is tonight's race at Spa. I want to thank everyone for coming to the YouTube video watching tonight. If you want to join me on Twitch while I do admin stuff for post-race, we're going to head over there. But for now, thank you for coming out. We'll see you next week in Hungary. See you.